Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Magic and Miracles, where you learn how to be the magician of your life. My name is Anna, and I'm your most favorite manifestation life energy coach under the sun. Reason why there's no such coaching program like my coaching program, because I've designed it myself during the last 9 years that I've been a coach. And nobody spends as much time with and on their clients like I do. True story. 2 to 3 times per week, I rendezvous with all of my clients. We conduct the sessions via Zoom or via a phone session. Everything's recorded for posterity, for my notes. And I recommend 2 to 3 months in coaching with me so that I can complete the coaching program and leave you in a very stable place where you have already manifested what you want, or manifesting other things and on the way to manifest, or at the very least, I will definitely promise you a shift in perspective, a shift in energy. You will definitely learn everything that I teach in my coaching as far as how to manifest, how to really manifest. Okay, not just some cheap trick here and there, not just some regurgitated technique here and there. Really the stuff that actually works. I teach you energy work, i.e. magic spells. This is not woo-woo. This is something that I have used, since I was 12, that works really powerfully, worked for me, worked for a lot of my clients. And just about, examples from my own life that I don't share on my channel, etc., etc. So really, this is a deep dive because we start with your childhood, adolescence, all the way up until today. And why I do it so thoroughly is because I'm really interested in the person's psyche and what is the belief system at hand that we need to rework. Okay, so by the time you leave my coaching, provided, of course, you let me do my job and follow my lead, which is the idea in coaching, and also which is why you should get to know my personality and watch more than one video, because I'm very direct. I don't dilly-dally. I am very straightforward, and I'll give you exactly what works. Like I said, from my personal life, having experienced all sorts of things, and giving you definite techniques, if you want to call it that, methods, I prefer the word, that for sure work, okay? If you really, like I said, do your part in coaching, show up to work, and don't resist the methods. Be open-minded as usual, because chances are you're coming off of, some of the coach. I don't really care about that. Nobody teaches the manifestation process the way that I do. So if you had accomplished your kind of search or the search for the information, you would be already manifesting. So if you're not manifesting right now, then just trust my methods. Again, so to be in my coaching, you need to pre-book, sign the coaching agreement, and communicate with me with your earliest convenience to set up a session. So I want to remind about the monthly Magic and Miracles audios. Those are in-depth conversations that really are, coaching, entry-level coaching, and discusses different subjects like manipulating energy, how to read people's thoughts, describing magic spells, etc. You can also buy standalone audios. They're on my website. And also there's the video school that explains all the steps of my coaching program. It's a do-it-yourself package. So I've decided that on Saturday, when we have a live at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right after that, for the encore, which is also kind of the class that you can take for now. Don't know how much longer I'll be doing it like this. And this will be a class on forgiveness. So I've decided that this is what I'm going to cover. The class is an hour and a half long. It's recorded via Zoom, right? And you'll receive the link upon me creating one on Saturday right before the live to join the class. So it will be on forgiveness, how to really forgive somebody, okay, and to process emotions around certain traumatic, difficult situations that you may be trying to let go of today. I feel like this is really needed because this is very kind of central in my coaching. A lot of people are coming off of a lot of drama, trauma, panorama, as I call it. And I for sure can speak, from my own personal experience that any time that I had, and a couple of times actually in my life, I had to do a massive forgiveness kind of ritual, if you will. And it worked so tremendously well for me that, I've experienced nothing short of miracles right after that. And so I will teach you how to forgive, how to revise certain things if need be, and then let go, and how to really emotionally get through a memory or a trauma, if that's what you're dealing with today. So for whatever reason, I am madly inspired, and it's past midnight, mind you. All the inspirations come at midnight. I should just have a podcast, like maybe every other day, which is basically what this is, but like a podcast with people who can chime in or something. I'm thinking about different things, guys, all at once. My mind is always working. So just before I started recording, I was thinking about that would be fun to create a podcast. They used to have these old school radio shows. I think they still have them actually, when people call in and ask a question, this and that. But I'm pretty much doing that during my life, aren't I? But sometimes I'm inspired, and so I have this sharing. I guess it's the continuation for the previous audio, the 3 reasons why you're not manifesting your SP. If you haven't heard that one, go listen to it. It's pretty on point, if I say so myself. So I would title this the most important reason you're not manifesting your SP back, okay? Or your SP period, right? And actually, you know what? It could be just about anything. It doesn't have to be relationships or any kind of SP. It could be money. It could be health, whatever it is that you're struggling with today. So this just came to me today. And I was inspired to think, why do I say it's easy, okay, to manifest an SP back? And people often kind of challenge me on that, especially in my coaching sessions. But here's the idea, and then I will develop it. All right. So the reason I started this channel is a completely different reason than what it has become now. And I've talked about it, but now it's over 18,000, let's just say, people here. And I wanted to reiterate things I've said before. Okay. So the reason I started this channel is because I wanted to talk about esoteric things, things like, quantum physics, reading people's thoughts, making things disappear, just weird stuff, as it were. And at some point, some people asked me to talk about SP. I had no idea that it was such a kind of market, such an industry around it. And when I did my research, I really it was funny, but it was also sad. And here's why. And I'll give you the number one reason you're making such a big deal out of your SP coming back. So there's a few thoughts that I need to say. So I understand, and this is why I coach in this department, but I really feel like there is such a hysteria around the subject, purely, may I say, milking this fear that people have, okay? And understandably so, because chances are this person, and a lot of them, happen to be in my coaching, and this is how it all begins. The self-esteem is not up to par. And I know what that feels like. I've been there. What I didn't realize is that people like literally make it sound more difficult than it actually needs to be. And that's what I really had a problem with when I saw that, and wanted to create a channel that will explain it way better. And in my opinion, the reason is like so simple. The number one reason you're not manifesting your SP, when you want to manifest them, and feel like you have to wait for something and this and that, it's because you're making a big deal about it. That's it. There's nothing else really to say here. Having dealt with my own personal relationship situations a long time ago, and what I mean by that is when I used to prioritize another person over me, my relationships would inevitably turn to shit. And first of all, the kinds of people that I used to select to be in relationships with were crap. I'm not talking about a situation where, you just decide to disengage with somebody, or I'm not talking about that you're having, disagreements and this and that. And sometimes, all sorts of things may arise as long as they're dealt with, amicably and with respect. What I'm talking about is this necessity to depend on another person to be happy. I feel like that's what it really is about, and it's being misunderstood for this situation of I'm bringing my SP back. So just the term itself was also foreign to me. I'm being so honest right now. I hope you appreciate it. Because I never saw it like that. It took me, a couple of years to really understand why I was attracting the kind of relationships that I was attracting, and to know exactly how to redo it. The quality of men increased in my life, and this time around, the relationship was on my terms. And I want to stress this. It's not like you aren't going to have disagreements in life, in your relationships and this and that. It's that it is on your terms. And that, for me, I feel is like also another really important point, because what I see in other people is complete helplessness in some cases, because they feel like they have no power. And again, having dealt with it like a long time ago, I forget how many years now, almost 15 years ago, with this kind of situation that was the traumatized part of me, having the low self-esteem. Honestly, I didn't think there were that many people that were going through the same exact thing, and that people are making a big deal out of it, in essence. I'm being completely truthful, like I said. And so to me, that was really strange, to be honest with you. So the way that I'm discussing my material, please understand, I'm not discussing it from the point of view of desperation or, some kind of priority that the SP has over you. My incessant coverage of this topic is to simply illustrate that it's a lot easier than you realize. Okay, that this is actually, you've been actually sold a lie to seemingly well-meaning people who try to portray themselves in some cases as coaches, who haven't gone through the the process of bringing anybody back, in quotations. And I've, if you want to call it like that, I've brought people back into my life when I wanted to. Okay, I wasn't thinking about it in a desperate way. And so the person would come back, and I kind of knew the mechanism. On my own, I had to learn how to really respect myself. And this is why for me, it just goes back to the simple truth. You are making a bigger deal out of this person right now than you're making a bigger deal of yourself. And that's the problem. That's the problem with everything. This is the problem with money. This is the problem with health. This is the problem with whatever. And this may be a novel idea to you. I don't know your story. You know your story. But some people, this is why some people have called me to be a narcissist, having no fucking clue what that actually means. But a narcissist doesn't dream of helping other people, first of all. A narcissist doesn't actually possess any confidence. A lot of people misunderstand this concept. They're deeply insecure, painfully insecure, and put on a false front, essentially, creating this facade that they're very confident. When you're really confident, you don't really need anything or anyone to validate you. And that is what I learned in my own self-work. That is what I teach in my coaching. The SP, anything, disagreement, bringing them back in quotation, whatever terminology you want to use, should not be above everything that is going on in your life. And to me, not for nothing, but having worked since I was 15, I always knew how to make my money, how to pay my bills and this and that. Now I've gotten way better at it in the last 15 years, but I knew that that's priority one, my creativity, my passions, what I do with my work. And to me, this is also a very important topic in coaching, where you should take more interest in what it is that you're becoming, rather than, situating your value on one person. So that's kind of like what I would really say, and how my coaching may be different, where the emphasis is not at all on SP, the emphasis is on you. And so when you'll grasp that the entire situation is around you, you're not powerless, you're very, very fucking powerful. That you don't need to be perfect. What you are experiencing right now is not a failure. It's just an experience if you accept it as such. If you start making a big deal, again, out of something that happened, it isn't like certain things don't happen to everybody, right? There's certain disagreements, like I said, within reason. Like, I'm talking something completely reasonable, not abusive, okay? That's what I mean. How you take it, though, and how much drama do you make around it, I feel like that's what people also struggle with. Entirely immersed in their own thinking about and interpretations around what it is they think that happened. And so that's another hysteria around the SP, because there's this really powerful kind of voice throughout a lot of people's coaching material out there. And I have to deal with it like in my coaching, and that's how I know that if you manifested this separation, or if you decided to go your separate ways, or whatever the drama happened, or they, chose somebody else, or whatever the fuck is happening right now, who cares? That this is somehow a bad reflection on you. So this is actually absolutely not true. That you're experiencing this, that you are choosing to give it a negative spin. That's entirely your choice. So if you want to make, again, a lot of drama out of it, and, basically feel bad about it till the end of motherfucking time, be my guest, you'll never move forward from it. But if you're solely looking at the tapestry of your manifestations as a never-ending painting, and you understand that the only person who can determine your worth is you, and therefore, if your self-worth and self-concept is intact, meaning you understand that the value that you give to other people, it comes from you. It has to come from you. So if I'm going to put other people in front of me, therefore, then I am valueless. So that cannot happen. And again, that doesn't mean that I'm being narcissistic. I'm going to be nice to people. But I come first. My interests come first. What I say goes in terms of this is what I want, in terms of the kind of reality, kind of manifestations that I prefer, instead of what I see, in a very calm, in a very collected demeanor. Now, I understand that for a lot of people, this is not easy. So having gone through, many, many clients with more or less the same problem in the Department of SP, I understand that it takes time to get there. This is what I do in coaching. Now, like I said, having brought back a few people that I was really interested in, the point really to understand is that after I concluded certain things about my self-worth, things became much simpler, and not a lot of, let's just say, video watching, none actually in my case, was necessary, because all that I did was give myself back the power over my reality, which you should never lose sight of. And decided to just bring this person back. And as soon as I decided, they were back, right? It wasn't like I called them. It wasn't like I was texting or asking anybody for anything. They just came back when I wanted to. And that's the simplicity that I want to deliver, and how, I think my philosophy versus the hysteria out there. Because, and I'm not even like, saying this to put anybody down. They're putting themselves down out there, making it sound more difficult and shameful, implying that you did something wrong, and kind of like this kind of shade of shame around this, like something went wrong. Meanwhile, you could be learning a lot of things. And this is what I explain to my clients in my coaching, is that the number one thing to understand is that nothing went wrong. Really, nothing went wrong. You need to calm down, sit down, drink some chamomile tea, and really just take a deep breath, because a lot of people make it so much worse in their mind than it really is. And I understand that people are emotional, and sometimes reason doesn't really start clicking in until much later when they're a lot calmer. But this is what I help you do. And again, I just want to stress, if you're making a big deal out of anything, it becomes harder for you. It just does. What I just described, the process of every single time now, first of all, I didn't want to do it with many people, like the whole bringing back thing. Most of the time, if I was done with a relationship, I was done, There were a couple of times that I wanted to have a second look, so to speak, and see, if I brought back a different version, like what would happen, kind of deal. But notice how this is up to you. This is your choosing. Not if you chase enough, if you watch enough videos, if you, whatever. Everything that I teach you in my coaching is a lot of things that worked for me. But the fundamental reason why someone is good at manifesting and the other person isn't is that they're not confident in their skills. And to be confident in your skills and manifestation, you really need to not beat yourself up. Okay, really, that's what it really begins with. If you're going to be self-critical and paint yourself like a complete failure and like you missed out on something, and give that spin and interpretation to your story, and on top of it make it ever so difficult based on this assumption for you to even begin to believe that this person could be different towards you, that you could bring them back, etc., I feel like that's what really, makes a lot of people stuck. And it, again, I'm doing what I can on my channel to really explain how much easier all of this is. And the entire work is within you. And so in 2 to 3 months, I definitely accomplished a lot with people who are paying attention. And that's 99% of my clients. Who are fabulous, by the way, really, just couldn't be happier. And so understand that this is where it's really at. Whilst your attention is being driven to yet another technique, yet another video, can you be a little smarter this time around? And maybe if you're listening to this, understand that your attention is directed the wrong way. The energy should go in towards you. Okay, the arrows need to be pointed in, not that somebody else is affecting the way that you will feel, what you will choose, how you will act. It's them who will be at your mercy when you decide to manifest them. That's how it really should work. So if you need help understanding what to do immediately, if you're in a situation where there's clear emotional discomfort, the number one thing to realize is that your SP is not the most important thing in your life. And I know that sounds so non-romantic, but it's actually the truth. And the sooner that the sooner that you will realize this, the better for you. Stop really making such a big deal out of this person. Bring them down to your level and start really deciding, what is it that I want? What is it that I want? How do I want to play this game? And then that becomes fun. And that's how I literally create and manifest in my own world. I treat it like a canvas. I treat it like a painting. Nobody else is in charge other than me. And so there is no blame in an environment like that. There's only paintings. There's only experiences. And as long as you can, manage to be the creator and not the sufferer, in terms of what do I want to create next? How do I want to interpret this? It's all up to you. Then there needs to be no particular suffering. You can completely turn the situation around when and if you're ready. Meaning when and if you want. Not really ready, but when and if you want. Or ready. Okay? You're not on a timetable. There's nobody's going anywhere. Okay? Nobody's rushing you. It doesn't have to be that, you don't have to be afraid. Okay, that's not a good energy to create from anyway. You need to be completely like the golden Buddha that you are in the center of your universe, conducting your fucking business according to your rules. And that is what fun is, manifestation, when it is done on your terms. Otherwise, you're just another, how they say, whatever, rabbit in the circle running around based on somebody else's ideas that this shit is difficult. It's not difficult. It's not difficult at all. The idea is to take back the power and realize you're a magnificent human being who's learning how to manifest on purpose. Fantastic news. So now, can you let yourself understand that this can actually be fun and that your suffering is entirely optional, and the length of the time, if you want it to be shorter, that's totally possible. But again, we're not in a rush. So whatever feels comfortable to you. Now that's custom making your reality to your desires. And that's what I'm all about. And hopefully you caught the distinction that I was trying to make tonight. Okay, so I will announce the live topic sometime Friday. So watch out for that. Live will be at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But the class you can go ahead and book. The encore for Saturday, and that will be again forgiveness, letting go, processing emotions around trauma, etc. And I will definitely encourage this time around for you to book this class and participate, because you can ask a lot of questions, and like I said, it will be on Zoom, so you will be able to use your voice and have some maybe questions answered in your situation. All right. If you have any questions, email me directly. All information from me is below. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time. Ciao, ciao.